break. Hashtag Terran Patch, GLHF. Zerg Map, GLHF. The fighting talk is strong as we kick this off. In the bottom right-hand side, this finals of the WardiTV Spring Championship qualifier is Reynor, our blue Zerg, taking on the red Terran in the bottom left-hand side, Team Liquid's Clem. Game 1 of this best of 5 starts on Golden Wall. I'm going to say hello to the YouTube viewers because unless one of these guys just absolutely shits on the other guy, this one's going on YouTube. So hello to you guys. You guys know what to do. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Comment down below and be like, Wardy, your casting in this game was on point, but you missed like 4 different drops. But I still like the effort, because that's the usual YouTube comments we get. And with that, let's go into this series. I do want to talk a bit about Golden Wall, because I was actually playing some games with Risky last night. Not StarCraft, I was playing some Rocket. Well, we played some 4v4, but I was playing some Rocket League with Risky last night. We had a little bit of a discussion about this map, and we talked a little bit about how it's a very Terran favorite map. And Risky really believes that if you rally push natural here, third base here, and you rally push the bottom of the map, tanks here, and then drop the main, he actually just thinks it's unlosable. And he also says because not only can you push this side here and drop the main, you can also siege here and drop the natural. So Risky thinks this, exactly what Clem is doing, coming through here to take this command center, is really, really powerful. And also you're on a, essentially kind of a one-base setup unless Reynor attacks through the bottom side of the map. So you're very safe against a lot of potential all-ins and attacks that can come out in the game early. So I'm kind of intrigued to see how it goes, because for me, this is the first time I've seen a Terran player actually expand down on the bottom side of the map right away. So I'm kind of intrigued. Risky told me that's what Cyril thought. I mean, I don't know if that's... I mean, you guys can take his word for it if you want. I'm kind of intrigued to see what happens in this game, because this seems as though Clem has that sort of idea. if Reynor says admin Clem AFK, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm not gonna lie. But Wardy listening to Risky, I know. I mean, I try not to, but sometimes you just have to. Sometimes you just have to go out on a limb and say maybe sometimes Risky might be right. My cat is lying down on my mouse pad. Great excuse. So yeah, I'm kind of intrigued to see how this push through the bottom goes, see what Reynor does about it. The thing is as well, counterattacking through the bottom side of the map is not going to be easy from Reynor either, so it definitely seems like a lot of potential for Clem. Let's see how it plays out. So we do have the few Zerglings coming through. Obviously the Reaper and the Lings just dance around together. The second gas is not going to be a super fast 3cc. There'll be some kind of starport, and probably... I'm kind of not expecting anything super crazy. Probably just a few Hellions that are expected, but I'm not expecting this the map you go Hellbat attack on or anything like that. I kind of just expect this to be a Hellions get stim pack up, maybe Viking and the Liberator. Maybe you go for like the Medevac because you can drop this side or so and run into the main base like we saw Clem doing against the Laser in the semifinals. So maybe there's something we can look at there as this tech lab builds up on the barracks. And yeah, for the moment, just seeing what exactly the choice will be, but it's just going to be Marine. It will be Stim. Could have maybe gone Cloak Banshee as well. Always a possibility, of course. I had to go Cloak Banshee as well, but I don't think you need to, because Cloak Banshee really covers you very nicely against openings which are like Roach-based, etc., and perhaps some aggression. And it doesn't feel like that's happening in a game, especially when you expand on this bottom side early. So why not save the Cloak Banshee opening format where it can give you that coverage, where it's more likely to be potential aggression from Reynor? I mean, the Hellion Banshee on its own is a good build, right? But why use up that build now when you don't necessarily need the extra safety the Banshees give you too, right? As the few Hellions from Clem will come around the top side. So yeah, just the Viking, probably a Liberator to follow. He does have the gas for it, so can absolutely go straight into that. 4 Hellions for the moment. Is 5 and 6 finished. That will be it. So straight into extra barracks too. And actually not even into the extra starport unit. Just going to go straight into the reactor as well. So 6 Hellions, 1 starport unit, going to be the setup for the moment, as we do have 2 Queens of Reynor pushing up this ramp, and they're going to start dealing a little bit of damage to those couple of Hellions in the front there. 2 engineering bays from Clem dropping down in the back of the natural, and these Hellions pulling back around to the top side. Clem's Viking will make its way across through the bottom of the map, and again, just hunting for overlords. This one here going to be out, and I think that should die. I mean, Clem should get it as he turns back around. It should go down before it comes close to a queen defense or anything like that, so I think this is okay. The wall is actually mined out here, so Zerglings are out on the map. Reynor will continue to open up this position. I think you want to open it up so you can move down and fight there if you need to, as Hellions again looking to see what's up. In general here from Reynor, maybe he takes that bottom side base to the 4th. I mean, that's kind of tough because then obviously you do have the push from the Terran coming through this bottom side, as that's a run by to do quite a bit here actually, as Clem is like question mark and he's just got nothing prepared. Hellions out on the top side of the map have been chased by Zerglings at the same time, so Clem really not ready to deal with this, and this is doing a lot of damage. It's doing a lot of damage. Lings going in for the refinery here. A few SCVs going to come in towards the natural. Oh, Lings going down. My tank's stuck. Oh, no way. His tank was stuck? Because it doesn't fit through the one mineral patch. Oh, and then Lings get into the main as well. Well, that's a bit of a disaster. And Clem is going to tab out of the first game. Okay, guys, it's not a Terran map. It's a Zerg map. Who knew? Parston would never 1v1 me because he just knows that when I beat him, he's never going to be able to recover from that. And I don't like to retire people, you know? Like, I don't like to put people into retirement. So I think, sadly, that's going to be something you guys will never see. Bottom right. Our red Terran player here is Clem. And when I say bottom right, I mean the 3 o'clock position. The bottom base here on Purity and Industry. As in the top, blue Zerg, and the 12 o'clock is Reynor up 1-0 in this best of 5. That wasn't quite the epic, awesome TVZ I was expecting. Hopefully we have more to come between these two, because if that's the highlight, well, there's no way that's the highlight, right? So I'm hoping for 4 games in general as well. Let's see what happens as we get this going. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for the 20-month resub, 20 hype. Thank you so much, dude. Hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for resubscribing for 20 months. Welcome back. Maybe this series isn't going on YouTube. Yeah. You know, sometimes you just got to take the risk, you know? Sometimes you just got to be like, you know, we got this one. It's YouTube potential. And then it's just terrible. And you're like, well, you know, something. Not all of the ones you predict to be good can be good, right? As we do have Game 2. Purity and Industry, obviously a very interesting map in its own ways, of course. Good air coverage here. Obviously a lot of areas to come through. Despite the fact these are slow zones, the inhibitor zone generators, there's absolutely still potential for air attacks. See, I mean, island base unlikely to really come to fruition, but we shall see. As you do see the spawning pool about to finish up from Reynor in the main base. Actually dropping down on this natural as we build on up for game number 2. So again, Ling run by, shutting down that first game then and there. Now just going to be seeing our Reaper from Clem making its way out up to the top of the map. And that Reaper going to come through and just start hopping up, hopping around. And already a couple of Zerglings pressing through and trying to see what they can get done, as obviously no link speed or anything. So one goes down already. Nice pick off for Clem. Puts some pressure on the drones. Good grenade. Hits everything there. Drone taking a bit more damage. Is going to go down. So drones will fall, as you do see the factory dropping down from Clem in the main base. And just going to be seeing the Reaper again. Having a good time. I mean, this has not been bad at all. A drone, a Zerglin, has 3 kills. I guess it killed a creep tumor as well. Yep, nice. It's actually really nice to get the creep tumor kill on top of the Ling and the drone. I mean, the drone especially is something you don't expect to lose, as Reynor takes the low ground hatchery. It's an interesting base, because obviously the Terran likes to push across this way, but yeah, I mean, typically I'd expect the top left base to be taken. Link speed coming up from Reynor in the main. As we do have our starport from Clem in the main base as well, so that's building up. Depot's setting up at the front. Liberator building from Clem. So again, just making use of this kind of centric map. Liberator come across, harassed a little bit early. Doesn't look like there's anything crazy behind it. The stim pack coming through. And 4 Hellions obviously should at least go up to 6 here. And we'll see from there whether he wants to go past the 6 or just kind of stick around on the 6 like he did in the last game before going in towards the extra reactors, etc. for his extra barracks and so on. It's a nice grenade to, again, just slow down mining. Been a very annoying Reaper. I mean, link speed's been pretty late here in general. So, obviously, it's had a little bit of extra time to usual. Now, finally, the link speed is here. Reaper will go down. But Clem has had perfect vision and perfect scouting for, like, the entirety of this game so far, as these few Hellions getting some good connections, taking down a bunch of these Zerglings already. Doing pretty good in that front, as now these Hellions actually in this mineral line, and the Queen's the only real defense anymore, and, well, needs to get some of these drones, right? You absolutely can't leave this with nothing. 2 Hellions for 4 drones isn't bad. The fact that Hellions get away is a nice positive. There's absolutely benefits to that, as 2 more Hellions come out onto the map. So they are going to be moving into the center, as we have engineering base of Clem dropping into the main base as well. That command center from Clem also setting up in this wall off. Liberator Siege doesn't do much, just forced a bit of a slowdown on mining, and it is slowed down as it moves away there as well. We'll try and relocate and come in from a different angle. And Clem just, again, controlling the front. Extra barracks coming through. Starport has already built a reactor. The barracks may be a little bit later than they could have been, perhaps. Not as lined up as it was last game anyways. Clem, 4 Hellions, just trying to get a bit more done. He baits a few Zerglings forwards and, you know, fires on those. We'll lose a Hellion. Just keeping active, right? And keeping Reynor in check. You know, do you have the units you need to defend this position? You know, you set up properly, etc., etc. There's 1-1 upgrades, and the combat shields drops down from Clem as well. Extra rack still coming through. I'll have a creep teamer being picked off here at the front, so again a bit more creep coming in the front. Now these Hellions actually find an open mineral line over here. I mean, this mineral line is very out there, right? You know, a lot of rotation potential to try and get the Zerg out of position, then run by. And, you know, that's 2 more drones for Clem. Takes the watchtower, just has some vision. There's the creep pushing out. Looks like the Zerglings will come in from the right side. So these Hellions should be dead now. Should be no way out. I mean, maybe through the Queens, but by the time you run through the Queens, nope, the Queen's actually blocking this exit off as well. So that's a full cleanup. The Hellions finally down. I don't think that's too much of an issue. Honestly, in terms of what's being lost, the Hellions have done a good job. 16 lings and 8 drones. You know, over the course of the game, it's very good damage as Clem gets the Liberator back on the map after a bit of repairing. His own 3rd base down, and now, you know, we're really looking at this scenario where it's not a super close push, but if you can get here as Clem, the rocks really protect tanks, etc. It's going to be very hard for Reynor to fight that, and then you can start pushing out and making your way towards that hatchery. So that is scary to deal with as Clem going to get a scan to clean up a good amount of creep spread already. Now, the Zerglings might just want to look for a counterattack here more than anything else. They're kind of keeping their options open. Actually sends a few around either way. Could go right and left, of course, and make that move again. Actually, the siege tank all the way back over here, kind of on its own. The Zerglings will go for that. I mean, it's an expensive tank kill that takes down so many Zerglings in the attempt to take down the siege tank. As the Liberator gets back in for a few drones at the same time. Honestly, Clem's harassment around the map so far has really been on point, as Reynor will opt for the Hydralisk Den to follow up from here. Gets an extra creep teamer. These Marines going to load back into the medevacs, back down the bottom. And a bit of extra creep from Reynor setting up on the edge of the spread here. With the Baneling Nest getting that Baneling speed. So Reynor went pretty fast upgrades this game. Baneling speed is a bit of an afterthought. And that just means that he will be on point with 2-2 as well. So the upgrades are pretty even across the board. No advantages. As Clem comes in, cleans out this tower. Reynor doing a good job to re-establish the creep spread that's been denied. That's exactly what then Clem wants to kind of shut down again. Try and keep these Queens busy. Keep them rebuilding. Really keeping creep away from this area here, which again is what I imagine is going to be a main focus for the push. As Reynor does have units already preparing for this attack in over here. No Bane speed yet. Clem doesn't try to target down those Banes, though. He just lifts and leaves, but he does have a drop in the main base as well as this Liberator sieges up. That Liberator is going to get a few drones before Reynor responds. The drones actually pull into the Marines, and Clem, it's a 1-2 punch. Liberator into Marine play, and that's a lot of drones going down. Oh, Reynor, he had no idea about this drop at all. Zero vision of those medevacs through this little area, and that's really nicely done. Now Clem's going to drop down. These medevacs are probably going to fall. He'll try and take some Queens down with him. Transfusion is there initially. Second Queen going down as well. And he gets all 3 of those Queens. At the same time, he's up on the top left. And now Reynor was not in position. The 4th base takes damage too. 20 drones down. Even the Liberator here getting some extra kills and some denied mining. And Clem is having a field day in our second map of this best of 5. Obviously down in the series. Needs to win this one to even it out. And right now, he is doing what he needs to make that a reality and a possibility in the game. So Clem, a couple good moments, some real successful drops back to back. Widowmine production in play. He is against Hydras. Now, Widowmines are great against the Ling Bane. Against the Hydras, the siege tanks can be great as well. Especially because, again, against Hydras, there's no Mutalisks, obviously. And if there's no Mutalisks, you don't really need to build Widowmines instead of tanks. So the tanks are just better anyways. A lot of the reason you play, Widowmine styles is because mutas are so good. Tanks are very immobile in comparison. They're very kind of, they can't protect themselves. They don't do anything against mutas, whereas the Widowmines do. Against the Hydras, tank play can be a bit of a better option, but it's still Ling Bane focused, and Widowmine's not a bad choice either. As we'll see Clem pushing through. He'll have a couple of tanks to support in these positions here. And again, this is the push position that we've been kind of talking about. As the drop goes into the main at the same time, Reynor is going to deal with that, but at the same time, just these units out over here from Clem. Good splits away. Widowmine's hitting only Zerg units, not doing any friendly fire. This Marine drops back down to the low ground and might even get an Overseer. Will get that. I mean, just the little victories right now. All the little things going Clem's way, and those tanks really supporting. The only thing I will say is I think that tank is blocking the pathway back. You do not want to get kind of completely blocked if you're trying to retreat. So that might be something Clem just might want to position that to the side a little bit, and he realizes it because it's just a little bit dangerous. Oh, he resieges. I don't think you want to resiege there. I like the idea of repositioning it. Maybe he'll still go for that. Maybe he just doesn't realize right now as he will actually just lift. He loses one medevac. Now unloads on the other side of the tank. I guess now the tank's kind of acting as a wall off. As we will see, the tank fire still pretty good here as Reynor will be turned away. This is a very Hydra-heavy army at this stage. Still adding on extra Hydras here as he's mostly only losing the Ling Bane, so the Hydra count really getting quite high. Clem has another drop in the main base coming straight through here. Widowmine will help to cover the first few units that come in to defend. And he actually has just an exit route here as well. You can zoom out on the top side. There's no slow zone, so the Hydras will not be able to get in range and kill you. And Clem is out of there. Again, the drop play so far, very good. And really giving him some good positions so far, as we're going to be seeing the few Marines trying to press forwards once again. This was going to kind of run out of steam now. He's not reinforced for a little while. Obviously, his first round of reinforcements went to be this drop, and then the next round just didn't join up just yet. So no surprise to see Reynor finally pushing this back. As he gets up to Hive Tech, he's still just on Ling Bane Hydra. I mean, typically Vipers are the go-to, but there's not been many tanks, so we'll still see if that's the idea from Reynor. Adrenal Gland's a priority. I mean, he does have +2 melee, so Ultra Cavern can come down here too. I'm just not sure if it's a great map for Ultras, with all of these choke points and kind of setups that seem to be very difficult for Reynor to clean up, and that's a couple more Widowmines that felt as though they might have blown up, but didn't actually go down. There's a few Hydras over here. Did they actually kill off those medevacs? I'm not sure if they did. I actually missed that. As you see, some Widowmines here. Doesn't get the big shot on the Banelings, but there's units there in general to defend as Clem pushes forwards as well. Anyways, Hydras were pulling back, and at the same time, it's just a medevac drop up here that got a bunch of damage done. So 20 workers going down. Now Feelings from the other side is coming in, and Reynor will get a surround. Stops Clem backing away as easily. These Widowmines just picking up a bunch of damage, and again, Reynor pulled back to deal with that, and that's when Clem dove in on this front base. It's honestly been about 6 or 7 minutes of a consistent onslaught from Clem, and Reynor is still trying to hang on in there, but this is a maxed out Clem against a 140 supply Reynor. He is not looking good right now. Even a few more units going down as those Widowmines got to fire once more. And now Ghost production on the way as well. Hasn't built Liberators here. Typically against the Hydras, Liberators are actually really good, especially with range. But going into a Ghost or two initially, I mean, that does surprise me a bit. Clem has this 5th base up. He's not really had any issues taking bases, so we didn't even talk about his 4th base because it went up when he was just applying so much pressure continuously in the game. So we didn't really have to stop to talk about that, and the 5th base is kind of a similar story, right? He's just getting it up. There's no problems there. There's not really much action. There was a slight attack here that we saw the couple Widowmines firing in. Did you just have the Watchtower being taken, and Clem falling back a little bit further. The Marauder in the front taking some damage. I like that though, obviously, because then the Banelings don't want to commit into it. This medevac going to try and make its way out. Flies over a spawner queen, and it feels like it'll go down on its way out, right? There's another queen nearby, so that should be dead medevac. Not the end of the world. I mean, Clem wants to evacuate at some point. He doesn't want to put too much attention into saving one medevac at this stage. He's actually going to find position on this top side, so he can't really rally across to reinforce this spot. But he has Ghost as well. Let's see how this goes. He is off creep too, which is obviously a big benefit. Army comes in from the right side from Reynor. I mean, all these Banelings are just getting absolutely massacred. It's a huge win for Clem. Extra Bane's about to finish up. These Ghosts haven't even lined up snipes yet, but when they do, those Hydras are gonna absolutely die. I mean, again, you can just work off the creep spread, and that's the danger of this left-hand side base, and, you know, Reynor never really haven't gotten position here. I will say the Ghosts now going down, they've actually not done anything at all. Feels like the Ghosts were preparing for Ultras that just never showed up. Nice Parasitic Bomb to force the Medivacs to have to split, and actually a lot of Medivacs going down, so Reynor getting some kills. This is a good start from Clem, but Reynor made the most of it in the end. Yeah, the Ghosts really just... It feels like a preparation for something that's not been built yet, and in this fight here, they just weren't really that useful. Didn't even set up any snipes at all. Pretty brutal as we do see the Bio Present in. A Queen very nearly going down. Widowmine's going to actually finish off 2 Queens to the far left side, and another Widowmine in the back. He's going to blow up a ton of Banelings. What a Widowmine connection that one was for Clem, who, by the way, says, you know what, you don't have any anti-air in this game, or any Mutalisks. I can take the island base. So he's set up the island, he's setting up the bottom as well. This is Clem's map. This should be called Purity and Industry and Clem. He should put his name in the title right now. He's got so much of it under his control. There's +3 on the way from Reynor. Trying to get those upgrades up. He's been fighting, obviously, with, you know, getting missile upgrades up recently to build up the Hydra count and to power that up. He has +3 Carapace, but the melee definitely helps as well. Trying to get in towards the Great Aspire. Trying to make a move towards what could potentially be a swap into Broodlords. Cyclone gets a lock on there. I feel like this was a mistake, Cyclone. I think maybe he has the same hotkey for Cyclones and Liberators, and he built a Cyclone instead of a Lib. And as you see, I mean, units in the main of Reynor, he's really afraid of potentially further drops, and you can understand why. The thing is, this combination of Libs and Ghosts is going to be so scary, because the Libs are going to support the Ghosts. The Ghosts are able to get forwards here and actually drop some snipes down. Reynor is looking for one big fight coming in from maybe this top side. I mean, the thing is, if he comes in from the top, he kind of needs to come in from here and here. Instead, he's going to come like here and here. And Reynor's just... Oh, sorry, Clem's going to back away into the Liberator fire, into this choke point. So yeah, this is what Reynor needs to do, but then the Widowmine's going to see it coming so that Clem knows. I mean, that's actually just a straight up counterattack that could actually deal some damage here. So Clem will have to go and deal with that. I mean, 8 workers going down. A factory is here, so that's some of the Widowmine production. Is Reynor at the same time does make a move forwards as Clem pulled pretty much everything back to deal with this. Clem is very rich though. 4k in the bank, 1.5k gas. Reynor with 1k, 2k. As we do see the army supplies, I mean, Reynor's been able to max out, but it's the rebuild potential. And obviously, Reynor has not traded well so far this game, so unless something drastically changes soon, and it really shouldn't, because Clem's army comp is way better than it was before. So if anything, Clem should start trading better than he has been before. Not Reynor suddenly finally, you know, finding some magic. I mean, that's what he needs to find, some magic here to get this game going in his way again. Overseer sniped down. Ghost pressing forwards. There's no cloak for Ghost just yet, but man, these Liberators... He can abduct a few of the Vipers, but can he abduct all of them? Well, right now, the Ling Bane is making a pretty decent effort of just pushing through anyways on the ground. Reynor might just have to back away. A lot of the Libs cleaned out. What Reynor's actually just... what Clem is missing is he's just missing enough bio units to actually fight the Ling Bane on the ground. That's his issue at the moment. Without enough bio units, the Ling Bane actually does okay. But Reynor just says, well, I back away, I build up, and Clem's like, well, I'm still trading well, right? Like, I'm still getting good trades here, getting some good fights. Tried a few times to hit EMPs on those Vipers, but just didn't quite find it. As Clem will now look to take the bottom left gold base. I mean, this is just... You can't recover from this as Reynor. You're stuck back on 6 bases, yes, which seems like a lot. But when Clem is manning the 2 bases on the map, which are not shared, like, you know, which are kind of shared, right? They're not symmetrical. You don't have your own island base as Reynor. If Clem mines this out, there's no other base in comparison. Well, there's the bottom left. But if he mines that out too, right? That's the issue. And on top of that, Reynor has bases of his own, and very soon I think taking these bases will be very easily done. I don't see Reynor really taking those bases when Clem has had so much presence in the center of the map. You know, these bases are defended simply by Clem continuing to push across as he has been doing. The Ling Bane army might want to come in for a flank rather than a run by, and Reynor might just want to go for one huge cleanup, because if there's a way to win this, it might just be a massive cleanup into a big kind of swarm across the map to shut down reinforcements from building. Here we go. I mean, honestly, the Liberators just have... There's no answer to them. And while the Ling Bane actually cleans up the ground army, the Libs will just hold, and there's only so far forward these Hydras can move before the reality is those Liberators will just play cleanup. And those Liberators, they're pretty darn scary at this point in the game. And again, Clemmy's losing the units that's so easily replaceable. And the resources lost sustain about a 7k difference. The run-by potential from Reynor is, being limited. The map itself doesn't lend itself to too many run-bys. And he's tried here and there, but because he was behind early, he's had to put so much focus and attention into defending. It's been so hard for him to really set up it with any of that. And now even Clem sending Liberators around the map, and that's a frustration. It's drones going down and you don't want to really replace. Clem might not be winning this game right away simply because he's still on 90 workers. If he actually gives up like 10 SCVs or so, gets a bit more army supply, it might just be the bit of extra bio he needs on the ground to really keep pushing through in the course of a fight. Obviously, having 90 workers, though, means that his bank is continuing to grow despite all of these trades. You wouldn't think that Clem's been trading at all in this game, having a 5k, 2k bank, but it's been like non-stop. And that's just because he's got so much economy behind it. Bases everywhere. I love that he just takes the gas on this base as a priority. Maybe even just mule that base as well. You don't have to send so many SCVs over. Pulling back here, the Liberators didn't get a chance to siege. I mean, they're going to try and make their stand now, and immediately Reynor maybe thinks twice about it. Second round of Libs setting up as well. The Ghosts. Again, it's really still the Zerglings here, which are the bigger issue. As we do have the Liberator pressing forwards with that Parasitic Bomb. Just trying to split away. More Hydras, 5 more Vipers coming through. Drones going down elsewhere as well. Question in the chat, where are the Corruptors? Reynor's not had the money to build Corruptors. I mean, you can kind of fight Libs usually with like a couple of Ducts and, Hydras. But you've got to remember, Reynor's been trailing all game long. And as he's been trailing all game long, when it's gotten to the point of this many Liberators where you kind of need Corruptors to fight, he's not had the money to build Corruptors. So it's really just, yes, they would help. But if he doesn't build Hydras right now, he dies on the ground anyways. If he tries to build Corruptors, I think he just loses, because then the Ghosts really do come into play. That's the issue, right? The setup is already here from Clem to fight against Corruptors if that's what Reynor builds. So it's almost like, is it the right choice? Is there any right choice when Clem's had so much control and such a good position to build up into? And these Ghosts still looking forwards. They've not done a lot, these Ghosts, but I think what you've got to remember about them is the Ghosts give you the potential so that you can't do much else as Reynor. The Ghosts are good to zone Vipers. We've not seen much of it, but the idea of that is there. When they do get snipes, they're great, and of course they do stop things like Ultras and Corruptors coming on the map as well, so it might just be the Ghosts also help protect the Liberators, even though the threat isn't there. Having the Ghost just stops Reynor building into, and Clem is rich enough to justify that. Another EMP that doesn't quite connect as he uses the Ghost to bring a few units forwards. That's the EMP. Hits all of the Vipers up in the sky. And I mean, that's really bad for Reynor, because the Vipers were kind of getting a bunch of Liberator kills every time. They were one of the reasons these Libs were kind of eventually being forced back. Now these Ghosts going to try and split up against all of these Lings. Trying to cloak here. There's an Overseer, but it doesn't continue forwards. And the Liberators just clean up. Meanwhile, Reynor will push through for a counterattack. This base has been under a lot of attacks throughout this game at this stage. A couple of Liberators haphazardly flying through there. And Reynor will get some decent damage done, but denying this base right now is really, you're fixing a broken light after your house is burned down or something, because you're just in so much trouble. You've got nothing on the map. You've got no bank. Clem has 10,000 minerals and 5,000 gas. When was the last time you guys saw a TVZ where the Terran had a bank like that? Actually, I don't think I've ever seen a Terran have a bank of 10k minerals. Like, it's crazy. Like, maybe in like a slow mech game, guys, really stalled out. But in a game where you're active and consistently on the map, harassing and fighting, I couldn't name a map I've seen this on before, a game I've seen this on before. Now the Ghost finding some snipes on Hydras as the rest of the army isn't ready to push in. This base from Reynor has been saved for a good long time, but not much longer. The Ghosts looking to make the pick off here as Reynor. He's just not been able to take a proper fight for a while because he's obviously had those Vipers having to rebuild energy. It's a nice run by that gets onto some depots here, maybe opens up potential for run bys later by taking down those depots. And then maybe you have access into production to shut down. We see a nuke coming in. We've actually not seen any nukes at all until now. Ghost that was dropping the nuke gets taken down, so that will not really be a factor here. There's only one Baneling in this, so the Bio Army is just not afraid at all. It can just sit and fight. And the Libs are just pressing ever closer forwards. As the reinforcements here will start to clean out these Zerglings as well, so they won't even do that much. I mean, the depots are annoying, but Clem wasn't even supply blocked from the losses. And again, maybe it opens run-bys later, but will there be a later in this game? Realistically, I think the answer to that is probably a big fat no. As more Overlords dropping down, Ghost just sniping those. I mean, Reynor is genuinely supply blocked now. And Clem has won this position, and then he can rotate back around over here, clean out these bases as well. And this game number 2, is making up for our game number 1 that was about 5 minutes long. Clem letting a Ling run by win the game. This has been very different as now... I mean, this from Clem was maybe even a bit too safe. I think you can fight those Lings. I mean, Adrenal Glands is scary, but it's a chunk of bio stacked up. There's no Banelings ready. Gets another couple snipes down, couple Hydras picked off. Liberator's covering the potential flanking, so... you know, if Zerglings, you kind of see it coming as those Lings are just going across the map again. Reynor trying to run by. Big round of abducts. The Hydras don't even get that many kills on the Liberators, and now all the Hydras go down, and that's going to be the point of GG as Clem ties the series up 1-1 in the best of 5 finals here today. Woo, Clem. With a 14k, 6k bank. Again, that's a crazy bank to end the game on as well. Qualifying match, 1 qualifying match to go, and then it's really not even that much longer of a stream than usual for the double elim. Crazy. 1-1 tied up in this best of 5. Reynor said, "Nice map, Blizzard. Can we have a petition to remove this?" And Laser said, "I already messaged Blizzard the first day I saw it, don't worry." Superiority in industry not getting much love from the Zergs. In the top left-hand side, our red Zerg is Reynor, representing Clash. And in the bottom right, our blue Terran is Clem, representing Team Liquid, of course. Couple shout-outs as we had Carl Fishy with the Twitch Prime for 4 months at the start of the break. Thank you so much. And Gnoi Triple with the Lambo King resub, gifted sub for 7 months. Welcome back, Lambo. And thank you so much for the love, guys. If you're enjoying the stream today, of course, hit that follow button. See when you're live in the future. 30 followers away from 55,000. And of course, don't forget, you can obviously Twitch Prime sub, you can regular sub. All of those help support this tournament. And of course, check out the ! Patreon as well. No match arena for this event, guys. We're trying to fund up through the Patreon page to help fund these events and future events as well. So check that out. And yeah, let's jump into this game number 3 on Nightshade. A bit more of a regular map, one that I don't think we'll have as many player complaints about as we come out of the game afterwards. If we do, then that would be a little bit of a shock. So we'll see what happens here, as we do have our Overlord again, just currently making its way off across down to the bottom right hand side. So yeah, game 3 of our series, and I'm just going to actually have a quick drink. Sorry, I forgot to take a drink through the break. I was checking on the bracket. Because action is about to start up. Reaper coming over, starting to deal some damage to a couple of drones. Zergling's going to come in and start a chase. And Clem is going to go double gas again, so no 3cc build at all just yet in this series. Again, these couple Lings trying to come back over. Queen fires again. Reaper takes some shots. Ling speed continuing up. Couple more drones in production. Hatchery dropping down from Reynor. And just seeing this Reaper able to come in, picking off another Zergling or so. Nothing too crazy just yet as Zergling speed coming up. Starport dropping down, waiting to see what our game number 3 will give us. Obviously, Nightshade. One of these maps, like I said before, it's a lot more regular. This is still a map where there's good run-by potentials. You take base 4 over here as the Terran, the Ling Hydra or Ling Muta attacks this direction. Do hurt as you're generally pushing up to this top side base to try and deny over there. Tell you what, it feels like it's been an eternity since I actually saw TVZ on Nightshade for some reason. I don't know why, because I feel like this is a map that we see quite a lot in TVZ, especially. So yeah, I don't really, don't really have a reason for that, as we do see this Reaper. We'll get joined by a couple of Hellions, of course, and actually brought the barracks forward so the Marines could make a pick off on an Overlord, but guess what? There's no Overlord there. It's currently coming back around the back of the Natural to fly into the main. So that Rex has given up a bit of time. The Starport had to build its own tech lab and sets up onto a Cloak Banshee opening. So there is the Cloak Banshee, and oh, what a timing for it. Roach Roaring from Reynor. So the Cloak Banshee is a great commitment here because it really stops a lot of this potential Roach aggression that could come across. And yeah, like I said, I was saying this in the first map, right, where it's like, well, why use the Cloak Banshee Hellion build now when you could use it later when it's more likely to be roaches? And that's exactly what Reynor's doing here. It's a great read by Clem. And this is likely to be roaches into kind of Ling Bane and play like a Ling Bane Ravager style. The roaches were quite popular for a while when the Creep Tumor change came in because the roaches were very good at defending the Creep Tumors. Now that they weren't being, able to be cancelled or anything. And as you do just have Stimpack and Cloak on the way up. An extra Rex dropping down here as well. And again, these few Hellions from Clem just gathering at the front. Couple of Creep Tumors taking some hits. Banshee will build from Clem in the main base as well. I'm just going to be seeing that command center fill in this gap in the wall as the rest of the Hellion Reaper out through into the center. A couple extra racks, a couple extra engineering bays on the way, so all of this building up. And Clem, well, he has this Banshee in the sky as well, going to come forwards here, pick off a couple of these creep tumors. So they will go down. And again, the rest of our Hellions going to try and make a bit of a run by already. The Queen's pushed away over to the side. These Lings going to take a bunch of damage already. So Ling has taken quite a lot of damage so far. And this Banshee trying to get a Queen or two. I mean, the Hellions all the way up into the main base. I actually kind of like it so far because you just killed so many Zerglings. Now the Roaches will catch up with you. And you've only killed 4 drones. I think the one benefit is that you've gotten so many of the Zerglings, right? You know, I seem like a record on repeat, but yeah, 16 Lings, 6 drones. It's not that bad. Obviously, the Banshee didn't do much on its own, but does survive, so it's still around so close to the base. I feel like you may as well go back and just get the repair, get a bit more HP to work with there. Decides not to, though, as the CC from Clem will move out. We'll take the forward 3rd base, actually, so we'll secure this base initially, then down to the 4th base a little bit later on. Does get 2 drones with the Banshee. Did you just lose one? No, where is the other Banshee? I'm being very blind at the moment. Oh, it did go home for repair. Okay, so this Banshee does go back. This Banshee actually gets 2 more drones in the meanwhile, and this Queen a bit out of position. I mean, there's an Overseer nearby. It's just not on top of the Banshee, so it will do a bit more. 1 more drone, and Clem really putting on some good pressure in these early stages. Reynor's really committing through to the Roach style. 1-1 upgrades, Roach speed now starting. It feels like he might just replace a couple of these drones here and really just go 3 base Roach Ravager all in on the 1-1. Now, in that scenario, I actually really don't like this base quite as much, I don't think. I'm just trying to think what's better for defending, because up here you can have the siege tanks to kind of cover this base if the Roach Ravager attack comes in. Interesting. We'll see how many drones Reynor builds right now, because that will tell us a lot about this. But even just the later 4th base, I mean, obviously there's been some pressure out here. I guess we'll see as these Marines will stem forward to find a couple building creep tumors again. They can't cancel anything, so they will go down. Overseer gets caught. And he sees a good amount of Roaches, so Clem has a very good read on what, obviously, Reynor is up to at the moment. A couple of siege tanks coming down from this factory here. Extra medevacs building, more Marines on the way out. And just going to be seeing the 2 Banshees of Clem back down from the top side. And the rest of this just hanging around as well. 3 more barracks building up from Clem. So he is just up to 8 racks already. Now takes the extra gas. So very, aggressive setup initially from Clem. What I do wonder a little bit of is how much you can really do 8 racks into the Roaches, though. Generally, you do 8 racks against kind of a Lingbane Muta style, and you try and overrun as the Zerg wants to start teching up or so. We'll see if he really commits to this, or if he starts up a 4th base at some point and says, okay, well, I do need a feature in this game. Drops don't really find much. The Roach movement from Reynor has been really good to shut these down, making sure that there's not really been any opening for Clem to get in there and pick off a few of these drones at any stage. And those Roaches trying to come through again, but Clem is pretty quick to pick up and move back to the top side. So just keeping those active. The Queen's a bit more freedom now to get some creep up in the center. And they're taking full advantage of that. A couple extra creep tumors coming down as well. Yeah, these 2 Banshees moving around. A few extra Ravagers morphing in. So this is kind of the big 1-1 timing I was talking about. 65 drones kind of just sitting there, not building up too much further. This is where Clem really needs to be sieged up already with these tanks and kind of spread out with these tanks as well. You do not want to be taking this fight in a position where your tanks are getting corrosive bow 2 at a time. Honestly, I kind of like it for Clem right now. He's got a lot more Marines joining the fray as well. These 2 tanks in the back have survived a long time. Long enough for a lot of Marines to survive this, and they've dealt a lot of damage. Now these Ravagers in the front lines take so much damage, and those Banshees are still here putting out hurt. I mean, a couple of Queens are here, but the Banshee's still around, and the damage output the Banshee's at is really kind of crazy. And Clem is continuing to hold on at the moment. The corrosive bows won't do much else. And this is very committed from Reynor, because after this, you're not on 2-2 upgrades. You never start that up. You're only on Roach Ravager. And this drop got the hatchery in the top side. So the drop gets a hatchery kill at the same time. Clem's not just defending. He's defending in style. And now Clem, I mean, this should be played out and you get yourself a GG. Oh my god, he kills the Queen. So now the drones are unable to mine at the 4th base. Oh man, disaster after disaster right now. Banshee about to run out of energy, run out of cloak. This Queen should get the kill. But even that is painful. 4 extra drones going down. And Clem basically will just have to hold a secondary all in. But holding that should be really easy, because now he's going to be on 2-2 upgrades. Sees this already in the center. He starts to fight because he has +2 attack. I mean, maybe want to pull back. I mean, he's got so much back over here, though. Get those tanks sieged up, and this should be a doozy. It shouldn't be difficult at all. I mean, there's just not much in this for Reynor. He's kind of down and out. There's a couple of Marines here still around. Going to get an Overlord or two. Reynor's not going to worry about that. He's going to worry about winning this game with this attack as the tanks get sieged up. The fire already coming in. Corrosive Bowels not really connecting. No armor upgrade just yet from Clem. I mean, that will also help against these roaches. As he actually just comes, he doesn't care at all, man. He's just going to chase this down. He knows how far ahead he is. He brings his tanks forwards as well. It's ballsy play from Clem, but again, he's playing this out with some style at the moment. As this Roach Ravager attack, I mean, those are nice piles they will hit. Oh, actually didn't hit in between the tanks, so had to take a couple more battles to get rid of the tanks in the end. And Clem's still just chasing forwards. He's so happy to trade right now. Just keeps on making it happen. Has a fourth base behind it all as well. I mean, maybe a bit careless losing a couple of tanks here and there. These Overlords have just kept on being picked off, by the way. 5 Overlords killed in the game, drops back down, finishes one. And now Clem is obviously across the map being aggressive. And those Marines go up to the high ground, still being annoying on that dropship. Even the tank coming across the map here too. The one thing I will say is those medevacs are pretty drained of energy, so that's something to keep in mind here, that Clem doesn't have the healing output you might usually expect him to have with this many medevacs. I'm not sure if it matters as Reynor actually runs into his own corrosive biles. His Ravager count is so far down from where you'd ever want it to be. And it just means that even if he cleans this up, right, he's lost so much here. I mean, cleaning this up itself is kind of a question. One final shot there, man. These Ravagers are low. And there's still the drop in the main base dealing damage. Clem takes game 3. And Clem goes on to match point against Reynor. 2-1 advantage for our young Terran player here against the... I don't think. I'm going to check. Hang on. I'll check. Let's introduce the players first. It's in the top right-hand side. Our red Terran player is Team Liquid's Clem. And in the bottom left, our blue Zerg is Reynor. I've streamed SC2 for 6 years. Well, 6 years since I got my sub badge. I streamed SC2 since 2011. No, well, probably 2012. Like midway through 2012, I started streaming SC2. I started playing at the end of 2011, I believe. Yeah, that's about right. So, like 8 years. You guys have got me interested, though. Let me check quickly. Partner, maybe? Emotes? Oh no, loyalty badges, that one. 6 years for the rainbow badges. Even I don't have the rainbow badge. So yeah, 6 years. It's a long one. We're working towards it. Game 4 of this best of 5 is... The builds initially look to be pretty standard, I would say. Obviously, doesn't look as though anything too ridiculous is going on. Just a Reaper expansion. We'll keep our eyes out for see if Clem wants to go 3CC for this time. Have I ever considered casting for Base Trade TV? I used to cast on Base Trade TV a lot in 2018. When Rifkin brought on co-casters a lot. Once Zombie Grub left and then he brought on a few different co-casters for a while. I did love casting on Base Trade TV then, but obviously I don't really... Rifkin just solo casts now, right? A lot of the time, so... I mean, that's basically it. But did you see the factory dropping down the main base? Another gas coming in, so we will not be seeing any sort of fast 3CC. And a couple more subs that came in as well that I didn't shout out. Sorry, got distracted by other questions. Freeall123, thank you so much for subscribing as well. So generous. Are we about we might be like 100 bits or like one more sub away from a second hype train, guys. 2 hype trains in one stream? Is that even possible? I actually don't know if we can even do that. Is that a thing? I don't even know. Apparently it's not. Well, Deskins87, thank you for taking the hit for us to find out with your Twitch Prime. I think it's on a cooldown of like 2 hours. It must be kind of close. Anyways, game 4, setting up and having a look to see what happens. Ever dream another of these maps? You actually get kind of a nice 5 base here in the front. You got the bottom right base if you want to kind of go down that way as well. Reynor one map away from losing out on this, as we do have the Overlord speed coming in. So he's really going to start scouting and making sure he knows what's happening in this now. Couple Queens pushing through, the creep spread coming forwards. And the Liberator from Clem building up in the main base. So getting that Liberator out, first Starport unit, and probably just Stimpack 6 Hellions. I mean, Clem seems to be pretty content with the build he's been doing. Isn't changing it up too much. Doesn't seem like this is the sort of game you're going to suddenly drop the armory down and start building Hellbats either. So, yeah, looking pretty good across the board here at the moment. As you do see the couple of Queens able to push a Reaper back, and Stimpack still coming through. Some extra Overlords in production. And the Marine dealing some damage here as this Overlord gets pushed all the way out up to the top. Obviously, full scout information for Reynor here, and that's exactly what you're looking for with the Overlord. And it is nice, of course. I mean, Overlord speed to actually then see, okay, well, you know, I can see you're not going Cloak Banshees this game, for example, and those bits and pieces. Oh my god, guys, are you kidding me? It literally just popped up on my Twitch page. It literally just says right now, cooldown complete, hype train ready to reach, leave the station. Oh my god. Twitch, you're such a meme. Everybody just subscribed. You're a minute late, Twitch. Oh, yeah. Twitch is listening. They just wanted to answer my question. Liberator gets 3 drones. The Hellions come in. The drones are pulled back safely to the back, though, so the Hellions will not find a good clump of workers there. 1-1 melee upgrades coming in on these evolution chambers. As you do see the Zerglings trying to come in for those Hellions. Liberator at the same time on the natural. Now the Lings get a pretty good surround to pick off a few of those Hellions right away, and we'll probably get a few more as well. So these Lings still chasing in right now. Actually going to get a good bit of cleanup. A few drones going down. I mean, just so much mining lost on the natural, right? So Reynor gets a good cleanup, but Clem's doing some good damage. The Liberator is still healthy as well to maybe deny some more mining one more time elsewhere. And meanwhile, Clem, 3rd CC morphing in, and he's getting ready for 1-1 combat shields and all of that to finish up for his next little push here. So setting up and getting ready for that. As the Queen will come through, Liberator taking a bit more damage. And the game calms down just a little bit. The Orbital Command is going to lift off and move its way towards the 3rd base. Again, 1-1 upgrades coming through. The Baneling Nest starting in behind the back of the natural expansion as well. So setting up for all of that right now, as you do see the 4th base dropping down. Reynor does opt for this centralized base. So setting up this base in the center. As we have our Liberator getting a couple of drones, some damage being done. A few more Marines of Clem continue to press across the map. And we do have our Baneling Nest from Reynor about to finish up on the natural. So remember, no Bane speed will be available here. So there's absolutely that potential for some cool micro plays with the Baneling target fire, etc. So that's something we can watch out for at the moment, as Lings and Queens coming into the middle here. 4th hatchery from Reynor going to be finishing soon. 1-1 upgrades about to complete. Combat shields finished also. A couple of creep tumors already going down. So a bunch of creep being picked off. Zerglings still running in. Those Marines pretty quick to lift up and move back away over to the right. Liberator of Clem will come in, trying to just get another couple kills. This Liberator, 9 kills on it. He's going to get 1, 2, 3 more. It's so frustrating. And then the Liberator, does he move it back? Looks as though this time it will go down. He's busy elsewhere. Gets 1 more drone. That Liberator has done so much in this game. It's really kind of crazy. A few more Marines dropping down. Creep Tumor gets picked off. And the Zerglings of Reynor coming across to the corner here. Spire in the right-hand side. And Clem just going to start pressing forward for a couple of these Creep Tumors. So Creep Tumor's taking some damage. The other 2 Medivacs coming across the bottom. So Creep coming in. Zerglings coming around. Getting a little surround already. As these Marines unload, Lings will force a lift up once again. And the Drilling Claws on the way out on the factory. So building this up, getting that underway. Feels again like a game where Clem is controlling, and we sort of saw that in game number 2 on Purity and Industry. And when you control a game as Clem, you make it really difficult for your opponent. Those are beautiful snipes from the Banelings to start off this fight, and he will just sit here and fight as long as he can. Because this is a trade which is fine for him. As long as those Marines in the back, the damage output is worth the trade-off. And a drop into the base on the top, and the third is under fire. He'll target down a Spore Crawler, so he has an easier exit plan, although I think he loses one medevac guaranteed. But he actually lost the Marines, which wouldn't have gotten out of there anyways. So, again, Clem just hitting here, striking there, and Reynor's being pulled all over the place. Considering the first game was such a, a real mess up from Clem, tank stuck, dying to some lings, 6 minutes in game. The rest of these games have been really impressive. To pull yourself together after that has been really sweet. As we do see a few Marines stimming underneath, and this Overlord is going to get pushed away. That will fall. 10 more Mutalisks on the way up from Reynor still. The rest of these Marines coming back into the bottom side. And they'll go in after this Queen. A couple extra drones dropping down. Rest of these Zerglings still coming through as well, as the Marines will have to lift up. The Mutalisk dealing just a little bit more damage. And that medevac taking a few more shots here, as we do have the Lings still running in. Banelings to follow. I mean, it's just all a distraction for the next drop to come in, and, well, no, poor Marine. He didn't know which way the medevac was going. He thought it was still going into the main base. He's like, no, come back. That's why you always got to keep up with your cardio as a Marine, guys. You just never know when the medevac's going to forget you. And he's like, whew. These guys are like, oh, Billy. Hey, why weren't you on the medevac, man? He's like, you guys, you have no idea what I've been through. As the big push from Clems comes across the map. A couple of factories pumping out Widow Mines. He's Thor mixed in as well because of the Mutalisks. He's got the units left at home, the tanks to help defend that base, which I love as well. Means we'll go diving into the main, but it means they're not here to help with this fight. Now, the ideal scenario here is you deal some damage with the mutas, and then you get back home soon enough to help with the fight as well. And let's see if that's the case. These few Marines will stay around the bottom side. Clem is on creep, so that is a danger. He actually unloads into the main base as well, so a drop here. These mutas have denied a lot of the new production structures that were trying to be built, and the new Thor that just got built, taken down. Also, finding some extra Marines showing up, they should be able to push those Mutalisks away, and so they will. Those few mutas taking a little bit more damage right now. Widow Mines going off. Actually, it's not bad at all, as the center of the map here is very well defended. Again, Clem using these siege tanks as kind of additional walls. He actually did that in Purity and Industry as well, and initially I thought, oh, maybe that's a mistake, but no, it really just chokes the Zerg up from being able to run into all of your bio units. A few more Marines unloading in the top side now. The rest of this army from Clem in the center. Again, 3-3 bio upgrades on the engineering base. Extra few Mutalisks coming through, the extra few Banelings. Some more Zerglings too. And Clem just running around up the top of the map. Spreading out a little bit here, so this army setting up with a few Widow Mines in this medevac going to come around. A lot of Lingbane Muta on the bottom side of this, as we do have our Muta's able to intercept the Widow Mine drop. That's nice. Widow Mine doesn't get a connection. The Muta's are able to get out of there. Other drop to the top side is going to find a Queen, picks up and leaves. Clem still pushing. Down the bottom is the player with the bank in the game. 85 workers each, and Clem already going to base number 5. And that's always where the Terran hits that real strong point in the game, where they're able to say, okay, I've got so many bases, I've got plenty of drones, I can trade and I can build, and I can trade and build again. You're just going to fly in, and actually, oh my god, all of a sudden some Banelings there as well will kill off an Orbital, so that's a nice pick off. New CC already set to go. The biggest issue for Reynor is 3-3 is about to kick in from Clem, and Clem's going to play a 3-3 upgrades against 2-2 for an eternity, because there's only Lingbane Muta, there's no infestation pits, there's no hive on the way. And if you don't get to that tier 3 tech, this bio army becomes overwhelming. You need to make plays like this with these Mutalisks to keep life, somewhat playable for you. SCVs, do we have a repair available here to save this? Probably not. There's a lot of battle. Actually, a lot of things where they hit the SCVs, the base will survive. These Mutas continue to fight as we do see the rest of this army pressing forwards. So Clem going to push on through. There's a lot of Banelings defensively, though. Those Mutas now starting to pull back as well. A couple of Thors mixed in here. Good splits back so far from Clem. Next round of Banelings will not have any Widow Mines to worry about, just the one burrowed up, because the Thors are going to go boosting and seeing if they can get extra shots off, but in general, Clem is just evacuating. This base will get back to mining soon enough, and Clem goes down to 62 workers, but it's not even that bad a worker count, all things considered, as these Thors actually will boost in, and they will push the Mutas back. Only a missile turret lost, and Reynor survives. Again, taking Clem's economy down a bit, but Clem has the CCs, able to replace these bases quickly. Widowmine coverage around the map is still pretty good. I mean, an attempt to run in here is going to be a lot of Zerglings going down. A 27-kill Widowmine. Oh, man. That's pretty brutal as we see the rest of this bio trying to press on forwards. Falling Bane meter up to the top side. Wanting to run in towards this planetary fortress. We do see the Zerglings here getting turned away. The planetary is going to be committed into. Those Banelings will blow it up. The rest of the bio still pressing through as well. I mean, it's a killed base, but Reynor loses a lot of supply to do this. You can see Clem lost nothing. 200 supplies still maxed out. Scans to kill burrowed Banes. He doesn't have to rebuild anything. Reynor is on 175 supply and still rebuild and doesn't have the lava to fully max out. Clem gets a position over here. Do these libs want to siege or do they want to stay unsieged to fight the Mutalisks? Seems like for the moment they want to stay unsieged. They are not doing anything in particular. As Clem will just split up on the high ground here as the Ling Bane runs on through. No Widowmine's burrowed up, so it's just the bio damage, but it looks to be enough as Clem is pushing through. Reynor's the one with money in the bank. He's waiting for lava, and that's his issue. No lava, no units, and he's going to lose a base. So Reynor loses this forward base now. Lings and Bane's going to morph back in down to the south here. A scan on the bottom side. Reynor's going to be seen. Clem just checking where bases are, checking to see what mining Reynor has, what sort of position he might be in this game. And now that Reynor is able to spend his money, he's just already lost too much. And Widow Mines are going to kill a bunch of mutas there. A few Marines coming in. Another Widow Mine. The Mutalisks are going down. And Reynor's running into more and more trouble. A little bit of Ling Bane coming up. The Marauder's splitting away. This hatchery will fall in a few moments as well. I mean, Clem just making play after play still. Liberator's firing, playing cleanup at the moment. Thor shots are good to push the Mutalisks back over to the center. And still the rest of this army looking real good here for Clem. He's just not being cleaned up from this position. Obviously, he's got reinforcements coming through. I mean, the Orcs are gathering up, keeping a few of them at home just because he's like, well, I'm a bit afraid of if you actually just commit through to try and kill me. These few Marines picking away at an extractor. The Lings coming through. Widow Mines caught in the middle of the map. We'll get one of them burrowed. Connects on the edge of the Zergling cluster. And right now, a 5-base Clem pushes Reynor down to 4 bases, a 5th base in the bottom right corner. It's not an easy base to defend. There's no creep spread there. The moment Reynor, tried to say Reynor time and time again. The moment Clem knows about that, Reynor's going to lose it. There's just no two ways about it. Another Widow Mine that's going to hit the edge of some Zerglings that actually gets mega kills. We still have this 17 kill Widow Mine from earlier. Still there, waiting for more, waiting for glory. Corruptors showing up to try and clean up some medevacs. I mean, that's something we've not really seen yet. Obviously, they can help against the Liberators too. So that's the new addition to the army here from Reynor to fight the Libs. But I'm not even sure if the Libs are the issue right now compared to everything else. You guys want to see the resources lost? 16,000 against 29,000. Clem is almost trading twice as well as Reynor throughout this game. Here on Everdream, looks like Clem is going to be our champ. You guys want to look at the income graph too? I mean, it's pretty even. And then Reynor took a bit of a lead when he counterattacked and he killed a base or so. Killed a few workers. And then obviously Clem's been killing bases come back. I don't think that's too spectacular. I think it's exactly what you're expecting based on how the game was played. I mean, Ghosts continuing out now as well as the Corruptors come in. You obviously want something against that. A couple Libs trying to fight these Mutalisks. And oh my god, the Thor shot helps so much there. And the Mutas, their numbers are going down once more. Honestly, I wouldn't even be too worried about these Corruptors. This is basically just Lingbane Corruptor right now. The Corruptors are not really a massive threat. I mean, I guess they're nice to pick off these medevacs. A few of these Liberators left over here. Those are probably going down. Reynor's maxed out once again. I mean, this base in the bottom right is really acting as his savior at the moment. And there is the scan from Clem to realize it's there. That's a nice bait from the Liberators, pulling these Corruptors over the Widow Mine. Comes in, a little bit of splash damage. Some Corruptors take some damage. A couple of losses. Some Banes wanted to hit this space. There's no planetary fortress here. Marines already pushing the Zerglings away. Looks like the Banes don't quite know what they want to do. Meanwhile, an army over here as well. First Widow Mine doesn't do much. And Clem, a couple of Ghosts here aren't exactly going to help him defend this base either. So Clem's going to lose this base. Can he defend this base at the same time? Lings and Banes rolling in. And the Orbital Command looks as though it's going to have to lift. So SCVs will drop. Again, Reynor is using so much of his army to make this happen. So while he's dealing economic damage, remember that Clem still isn't necessarily in too much trouble. It is starting to become a little bit worse of a scenario for him, though. Now he's losing some of these bio units as well. He still holds a big army supply lead, but Reynor actually has money to spend. He's once again in trouble in lava. 5 lava with over 1,000 minerals in the bank. He's never really had a comfortable position in terms of that. Widow Mines helping with the initial shots here, giving the bio a clear way through to this bottom right-hand side base. Perhaps he's going to catch some of these Banelings morphing. It's a great catch. A few of them, I mean, they finish and they just pull away in time. The Ling's over here. This position has been lost. Clem needs to reset some bases, otherwise he will struggle on mining a bit and continue to fight. Big Widow Mines on the first couple of Zergling clusters there. Once again being punished for being very clumped up. Baneling's trying to come on through, but now you're out of Banelings and this Bioforce is still alive, and that is always the scary part. With some ghosts to hit snipes on the Corruptors too. I think this bottom right base starts to go down. Clem will take down some economy of Reynor, which he does kind of need after losing so much economy of his own. I think you've got to at least deny one base, and then Reynor's still in an alright sort of spot. So this is nice for Clem to get this, and Reynor is still kind of kicking around. I mean, the problem is Reynor needs to get some more army up though, and that's not something he's able to do because of lava. If he was able to spend the 1,000 minerals all on Zerglings, brilliant. You had, you know, it's not so bad a scenario for you. That's 40 Lings on the map. But again, the lava just isn't there for him. He doesn't have 20 lava running spare. Cleaning up a Widow Miner too is... this one's going to get a Corruptor. Clem moving around in the center and looking for another fight. He's very ready to take these engagements against the Zerg army. He's not really, you know, shying away from it at any stage. Bane's going to run in here. The Widow Mines were actually quite powered up right away there. Man, there's so many Widow Mines. You can't blame Clem for adding them because they've actually been absolute heroes this entire game. There's now 45 to 30,000 resources lost or thereabouts. So actually, since we last checked in, the resources lost has been about even. Remember that Reynor has then been mining a bit more, but that's starting to end right now. Although this Bane run by, the Orbital Command is obviously not going to be able to protect itself. The SCVs go running, they try to split. It's honestly not that bad a split, considering you only lose 6 SCVs at the moment. Wow, if you lose the only 10 workers, I'm actually not even sure it's good for Reynor because of how much he loses out on. Snipes dropping down, the Corruptor's not able to do much. Reynor now losing another base as well, down on the 6 o'clock. And even more mining denied. As Clem will come pulling away over this right side. Couple extra Widow Mine shots, cleaning up some more of these Broodlings. Sorry, yes, it was Broodlings. That is what we're seeing. Broodlings in play. Liberators in the Bio Army. Out around to the top here at the moment. So bringing this around, you're going to see a bit of a stim through the center. Liberators sieging up. The Baneling set getting ready to go. Just going to be seeing a couple creep tumors already being cleaned out at the moment. And again, Clem just pressing forwards. A couple of snipes come down. Corruptors are getting sniped down there. The Liberators continue to fire. Widow Mines get big connections on the top. And Clem at 200 supply is going to stim on through. And there's not enough Banelings to clean up all of this right now. Widow Mine snipes coming down. The Banelings will not even connect on a unit. Game is called and Clem takes it 3-1 against Reynor. And he is the champion of this qualifier. What a round out that is. What a performance after the first game was a bit of a yikes. Games 2, 3, and 4 were well controlled. Reynor puts up a fight, but Clem is really the kind of, you know, the player who's in charge of all of those games. Impressive stuff from our Team Liquid Terran player here, Clem. Again, if you're watching this one on YouTube, this is absolutely going to be uploaded, of course. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, don't forget to subscribe. We're pushing towards 15,000 subs. We're very close to it, so help us out with that on YouTube. And don't forget to like and comment as well. Have a great day. I'll see you guys next time.